setting, one that will turn your skin. The love is right, let them have their time. And I have this notion, let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. And it's worse you for what I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I think it's absurd, but until then you'll leave your words. But lay on, lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies, the lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, you say that you are innocent, but your ways, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies, the lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh darling, how you reached your lover's end. No way will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. 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 you're the one to believe in hostilities, but you still force the worst upon me, upon me. All you wanted was love, but that was never enough. No, never enough. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. 'Cause you were chasing your dreams, now you can't redeem yourself. Disregarding your name, your smell is all that remains. They say you're an SLUT, but that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me. I remembered what you'd say. We're all looking to be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Till then, you'll still be a boy. To be alone. And somehow, someday, we'll find what we're looking for. Until then, we will all be yours.
Good evening, race fans, and yes, I am fully aware that the intro video suggested that we're doing the race for cancer again. No, we're not. I forgot to update the video from Friday. Can be forgiven. It was a crazy weekend of broadcasting. But we are back with your usual stuff, and it's the Open GR4 today, as it always is on a Monday. Round 4 at Spa. We've seen a lot of racing at Spa this weekend, but it's always good fun. Expecting a full quota of 15 drivers in the lobby. I think we're one short. I'm just going to have a quick look and see who we're missing. Wendigo is in. Stormfly is in, of course, is the host. Slipstream is in. Stargroup, he's in. Arminus, he's in. Roses. Roses isn't here. Is Roses racing today? Excellent question. Don't know. It doesn't look like it. He's not here now, so let's assume that he's not, because qualifying starts in just a couple of minutes' time. So, without further ado, let's have a look at. This is how we look after 3 rounds. Hey, 69, dude. That's what VR46 is on at the top of the tree in the Alfa Romeo. He hasn't got it all his own way. He's not pulling away from this championship at the moment. 1 point behind him is Monkey Macho Man, and he's not going to get 69 unless he finishes way down the order. No 69 for Monkey Man Macho. That is a shame. Everyone needs a bit of 69 in their life. Good evening, Arminus. How you doing, buddy? Looking forward to this one today. It's always good. Wendigo in third, 54 points for him in the Lambo. Wiggy in the BMW. He had good performance out of that BM. 50 points for him in fourth. Then we've got Fubar and Roses, 38 points apiece. And with Roses not racing this evening, that'll give Fubar a chance to pull away from him. Yeah, looking forward to it, Ricardo. I think it's going to be a good race, my friend. Going to be a really good race. Arminus, 32 points in 7th. TJ in the Ferrari 458. He's in 8th on 24. 22 for Slipstream, who's back with us. And Manxman rounds out the top 10 on 20 points. And then there's some other people further down the order and shit. But obviously Aussie can't race for a while, so he's going to be floating around down the bottom. Rob should get himself off the foot of the table and go above Aussie. I don't know if he'll get above Jay. He's going to have to finish ahead of Jay if he wants to get above Jay in the championship. Jay should jump Bandit. Ricardus hoping to move up a little bit with G-Max in the room. So depending on his performance, he might do quite well and get up that order. Phil not racing either. Neither is Willard. Willard is watching Duran this evening. And I see no Paz Kozas either. So yeah, there's going to be a few movements in the table over the next hour. And yeah, what else is there to say really? It's Spa. It's an iconic, brilliant racetrack. Qualifying is as qualifying is. It's 10 minutes, which will give you about 3 hot laps around here, if you choose to use all of the laps available to you. Expect qualifying time to be somewhere in the 28s, 228s, 227s maybe. Certainly around the 2 minute 30 mark. Which will be make for an interesting race. So with it being about 2.5 minutes a lap, we are looking at somewhere in the region of how many laps, folks? I could work it out. Can I sit that? I can't even work it out. How many? Was it 2 laps for every 5 minutes? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So about 24 laps. There or thereabouts. Good. Check me out in my math, baby. Check me out with the math. Not the meth, the math. Right, qualifying is about to begin, and we can have a full run through of who is doing what. Qualifier starting now. And let's go in and get cracking with the qualifying, the spectacle that is qualifying here at Spa. I didn't forget. Anyone that was about to remind me, I didn't forget. So, let's have it. Round number 4. This is the GR4 Open Championship. Next week takes us to the halfway point. Out of the pits we come. And this is the 24-hour Spa track we're using, which always makes for an interesting exit from the pits. Because obviously the start point is around the corner from La Source, and the exit to the pits is halfway up the Kemmel Straight. Saw some great racing here yesterday in GTFusion. Saw some shocking driving standards as well, but you know, it is what it is. But it's been it should be that those that raced in Fusion this weekend should have this track absolutely nailed on, because they've spent significant time on this track over the weekend. So you would have thought they would be able to get this properly dialed in. But we'll soon see. We will see what we will see. In terms of the full championship itself, as you know, we're on round 4. Grand Valley, we started out, we went to Sardinia for week 2. We stayed in Italy for Lego Maggiore last week. And then today we're at Spa. Next week we go over to Japan for Kyoto, and that is Kyoto Yamagiwa Reverse, home of the Wiggies Wiggler. It's a while since we've been there, so looking forward to that one. And then off to Le Mans on the 15th of May, which is another bank holiday. Awesome. 2 bank holidays in a row. Love Le Mans, one of my favourite racetracks. Then back to Japan for Tokyo Expressway. That's followed by Willow Springs, and it's Big Willow, again another favourite of mine. Brands Hatch on the 5th of June, and then we round it out at Barcelona without the chicane. That is on the 12th of June, which will take us firmly into the summer. As you may or may not know, this runs hand in hand with the GR3, same tracks, same formats, the only difference being that one's a GR3, one's a GR4. And if you race in both, there is a manufacturer's competition. I haven't yet posted any results for the manufacturers, but now we're firmly into week 4. When we do the race on Wednesday, I will be posting an update, which will be available to everyone, on the manufacturer's competition, running side by side with this GR3 and GR4 open competitions. So hot laps ensue. Already a couple of minutes into qualifying, everyone's got their out lap out of the way. I don't think anyone's stayed in the pits, have they? No, everybody's out there. Busy track today, 14 runners. Just Rosie's missing. Everybody else we knew wasn't coming. To be fair, I knew William wasn't coming last week, and I forgot to remove him from the list because I'm a knob. Anyway, Stormfly really wants to get pole position here and cement his place at the top of the leaderboard. Just 1 point separates him and Monkey Man Macho at the top of the tree. So his aim will be to obviously he'll want to beat him quite significantly. He'll want a nice gap between them, but I'm sure Monkey Man Macho has got many different ideas about that one. Not sure it's a 1 or 2 stop here. I have a feeling the soft tyres aren't going to give you a huge amount of time. From what I understand, it's only 4, maybe 5 laps on the soft tyres before you're thinking of changing them out. Does anyone use the hards? The hards are, any 2 tyre choices are mandatory. You don't have to use the mediums or the hards and soft. You can use any tyres you like as long as you use 2 different types. Of course, weather will come into play. If it rains, you no longer have to use 2 compounds. Well, you're going to use 2 compounds because you're going to put some wet weather tyres on at some stage. Will it be inters? Will it be full wet? So will it stay dry? That's the beauty of random weather, is you never know what's going to happen. Quite a busy week of racing this week. Obviously, we've got this GR4 today, GR3 on Wednesday, and then the weekend. Obviously, we've got the usual shenanigans in the GT Champions. But alongside that, we've got 2 teams competing in the ERF, the Endurance Racing Federation, and that is 12 hours at Bathurst. It's going to be a really cool race. I'm sure the 2 teams will be awesome, and I'll post up the full list of the teams and their running order and stuff at some point tomorrow on the Discord. Now I've got it all nailed down, and yeah, everything's been approved, livery's been approved, we are ready to go. And then I suppose Jay and I will have to sort out some sort of rota for pit crew. Bearing in mind there's 2 teams, so yeah. And I don't know yet if I will be doing any broadcasting. I've made myself available if they're short. But last time they had all but one of the stints covered. at Monza. We'll see if they manage to get them all covered this time. But I've told them I need notice, of course, because I've got all the artwork done. Anyway, Wendigo currently on pole. That's a 2:27.1. That's a really, really solid time in that Lambo to put himself on pole. And just to show you how good that lap is, slipstream 1.3 seconds off that pace with a 28.5 in that Honda NSX. As Monkey Man Macho puts himself on the front row alongside Wendigo, just 3/10 outside. How you doing, Phil? How bloody hell are you? Yeah, it's looking. There's still time for you to jump in if you want to, mate. There is a spot. Obviously, you're not going to get to qualify, but there is a spot if you want to blast around Spa for an hour, my friend. Slip dropped down to row 2. He is still a second behind Monkey Man Macho. So the two Lithuanian drivers, Wendigo and a Triple M Monkey Man Macho, are both showing incredible pace here. Slip is joined by Fubar on that second row. This Lamborghini, I think this Lamborghini's looking pretty darn racy around Spa today. There's Wiggy, and I'm sure, I reckon he must still be knackered. 16 hours of driving in the 24-hour charity event over the weekend. That's the phenomenal effort from him to chuck in those. So to be back racing already shows incredible fortitude. He's joined by Arminis on row 3. Just 0.04 of a second separate those two with a 28.8 and a 28.9. Stormfly 28.0 to put himself on that second row. But for a while he was outside the top 10 in qualifying, so still some work to do if he wants to get ahead. Now his championship rival, his main championship rival, is one place up on the grid as it stands. Okay, that's cool. Wish her a happy birthday from all of us at Black Flag. Hope she has a wonderful day. Getting to that age now where it's starting to get a little bit ropey. I know I've got teenage. I've had 2 girls go, well 3 if you count my foster daughter, go through that age. So yeah, it doesn't get any easier from here, mate. I can tell you. Unfortunately. Right. What else are we looking? Avalon. There he's got himself onto row 4, just behind Arminis as Fubar's pushed out to the 3rd row. TJ on row 5 is just a little bit quicker than GMAC in that 650S. Manxman is on row 6. He's got J for company in the Alpha 155. Ricardus LTU in that Silvia. It's a beautiful car, that Silvia. Is on row 7, and he's got Rocket Rob with a 235.1. Imagine if he'd done a 135.1. That'd be insane. Need to be in a GR1 car to do that, I think. So Wendigo's still hanging on to pole, but now he's joined by Slipstream on that front row. Slipstream has got himself a lot closer with a 27.198. Wendigo with a 27.146. That's phenomenally quick. Are we going to see, is anyone with a bit of Slipstream going to be able to put in a 26.9, a 26.8, a 26.9? That'd be a phenomenal lap time if they could. And I reckon with a bit of Slipstream, it's certainly going to be possible. But we'll see. There's not long left of qualifying. This is actually going to be the last lap for pretty much everybody. Just looking there, who's that there? That's Stormfly. He might get another crack because he's coming down to the bus stop chicane now in the Alpha 155. Good evening, Bandit. How the hell are you, Alex? Yes, the Stormfly coming down into the bus stop chicane. He's going to get one more crack at a lap around here. So possibly putting himself on pole. Good, some good results actually for him in GTFusion over the weekend here. Would have been better had he not been battered all over the racetrack by I think Thanos in certainly one of the races, and there was a couple of other bits and pieces that were just made it difficult for him. But yeah, so Stormfly does improve his time, but not enough for pole position. Really close, just 2.5 tenths of a second separate the top 4. Wiggy 7 tenths back in 5th place. He's got getting good performance out of that BMW at the moment. It's got to be said, really good performance. As Fubar puts in a wonderful lap and sticks himself ahead of Wiggy on row 3. That's really good. The Lamborghini's looking strong. very, very strong. Right, so pretty much everyone bar Stormfly has finished their lap, so this is how it looks. Front row is going to be Wendigo with Slipstream. Monkey Man Macho relegated to row 2 with so it's the two champions of the car, or the two current championship contenders on 69 and 68 points. As I say that, and Monkey Man Macho puts in a 2:26.6. So I posited that somebody might do a 26.8 or 9. He's just done a 26.6. That is an absolutely ridiculous lap. I doff my cap to you, sir. That was freakishly quick. That's not what Stormfly wants to see, is he's on a hot lap now. Is he up? That's the big burning question. He's coming round. We'll see his sector time as he comes round now, and when he crosses this line we will soon find out if it's on. It's not. He's actually half a second down on his fastest time, so he's not going to steal pole from Monkey Man Macho, who will lead everyone out in that Jaguar. Disaster quali for you. It was a bit, wasn't it? Way down in 13th. It was a 2:31.9. But look, there's an hour of racing ahead. Plenty to be positive about over the next 60 minutes. 24-ish. 23-24 laps here around Spa. So I think everybody has now set their hot lap. Stormfly didn't improve that time out. It was a 2:28.1 for him. So I think everyone's got a time on the board. It certainly looks that way. Jay, that's a good, solid qualification in the 155. Bearing in mind its top end isn't great. But there we have it. So Monkey Man Macho on pole position with a 2:26.6. Wendigo joins him on that front row in that Lamborghini Huracan for second. The next row 2, Slipstream in the NSX. I don't know why I can't say that. And Stormfly in the Alfa Romeo 4C. Fubar in the Huracan and Wiggy in the M4, locking out row 3. Row 4, Arminus and Avalon in that Cayman Club Sport. Arminus is in the 650S, of course. Don't know, Phil. It's random weather. It could do. That's the beauty of it. It very well could do. Row 5 is TJ in the 458 Italia, and GMAC also in the 650S, as same as Arminus. That's row 5. Row 6, Manxman in the Cayman Club Sports, Jay in the Alpha 155, and row 7 is Ricardus in the Sylvia, and Rocket Rob in the F-Type. So we've got an F-Type on the front row at the very, very front, and we've got our F-Type at the very, very back. We've got 13 drivers sandwiched, or 12 drivers sandwiched between those two, what do you call them? Ujima flips. Jaguars. So, let's have it. 24 laps, 1 hour of an endurance race here at Spa. Nice full lobby. And here we go. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4 lights. One more light, it goes out, and away we go. Good start required here. You go straight into Radion on Eau Rouge. You've got to find your place before there. You can't go in side by side. You've got to drop into single file. And single file they go. Is everyone through safely? Yes, they are. Nobody died coming through Eau Rouge. Monkey Man Macho holding the lead. He's got Stormfly already up into second. And Stormfly pulling out, looking for a way through. Monkey Man Macho is defending that inside line as they get to the top of Kemmel Straight. In a drag race, Stormfly just edging it. And Wendigo having a little dive up the inside. Does he make the move? Wendigo does. He makes the move on Monkey Man Macho. Stormfly does hold on in first. He's very, very strong, actually, to be fair, round the outside there. A few times we've seen him make moves around the outside at the top of Kemmel Straight. And not only gain positions, but also hold strong positions as well. But Wendigo makes the move on Monkey Man Macho and pops himself up into second. Don't count that guy out for the championship. He's certainly there or thereabouts and going to be putting in a good account of himself to chasing down this GR4 championship. So it's Stormfly lead from Wendigo. Monkey Man Macho just back in third. He's dropped a couple of places since pole position, but bear in mind it's a long old race. Arminis in 4th in that 650S. That's a really, really good jump up the order for him. Might gain himself a few extra points if he can hold on to that. Avalon's done well as well in that Cayman's got himself up to 5th. And he's got Fubar in that Lambo for company. Can and we've already seen how strong the Lambo is in the hands of Wendigo. Can Fubar get the same kind of performance out of that Huracan and demonstrate just why? And that is Ricardo's LTU into the wall. And guess what, my friend?
You can't park that there, mate.
A little spin out. Now, I don't know if it doesn't look like he was caught from behind, but he's certainly got damage on the front. He's going to have to wait for that to repair itself. Light damage is the order of the day here, which is something I prefer. The heavy damage. I quite like that, the jeopardy that heavy damage brings to a race. So as we finish lap 1 and begin lap 2 here at Spa, heading down to La Source for the first time, Stormfly gets the Alpha turned in already, 1.3 seconds clear. He has opted to start, and let's have a run through on tyre choices. Bear in mind, you've got to use 2 different compounds. And if it rains, obviously you don't have to use 2 different soft compounds because you'll use a wet compound at some stage. But looking at the skies, I don't think we're going to see any rain setting today, but you never know. You never know. But he leads already by 1.3 seconds, heading up the Kemmel Straight for the second time on the medium compound tyres. Mediums also for Wendigo. He's got them fired up nicely already. And Arminis up into 3rd. Monkey Man Macho struggling a little bit for pace. He wasn't struggling in qualifying, but dropping down the order at the moment. But is it because he's on a different strategy? Who knows? So Arminis up to 3rd in that McLaren, getting a really, really good performance. I'll tell you what, every race this guy does, he just gets better and better and better. And that's what it's about, isn't it? You want to see all the drivers improve, and I think everybody is starting to put in some really, really quality lap times at the moment. Monkey Man Macho, there he is in 4th, getting a little bit squirrely in that Jaguar. But listen, you can't count him out at this stage. It's only lap 2. Little bit wide, lots a bit wide, losing another place to GMAC. So GMAC now up to 5th, Fubar up to 4th, GMAC up to 5th, and Monkey Man Macho losing another place. He is tanking down that order at the moment, not getting it dialed in. He's under pressure from TJ now. TJ in that Ferrari 458. Is he going to be able to get past him and compound the bad day that Monkey Man Macho is having at the moment? Just 3/10 behind, so certainly with if he gets tucked in under that rear wing of that Jaguar, he certainly could get himself a lot closer and possibly make a little cheeky move into the bus stop chicane. Little dab of brakes. He doesn't want to go flying into the back of Monkey Man Macho. He's opted for Monkey Man Macho actually on the soft compound tyres, as is TJ. So in order to get those soft tyres to really work for them, they need to get up through that order and start trying to pull away from those that are going to last longer on those medium compound tyres. And remember, they only have to run, it's only half a tank, so they're not going to wear those medium tyres out in this first stint. But they might feel that actually just getting rid of the medium tyres early works for them quite well. But TJ cannot get past Monkey Man Macho. Is there another opportunity now as they head up the hill? And we can see there that Monkey Man Macho ahead, you can see just how close he is to the back. Just ahead there of GMAC as they head in. So it looks like TJ's just outside that slipstream window. Monkey Man Macho though, as GMAC takes an interesting line through there. I think we're going to see a little penalty pop up above that car. Do we? Yes, we do. So if Triple M can't get past GMAC now, he will get past him when they go around Blanchimont. And that's purple for the Triple M. Can he make it count? Right up behind GMAC, a little love tap. Hello GMAC, I'm here. Get out the way. Get out the way, boys. Get out the way. But GMAC says, no boy, I'm staying here. If you want to catch me, you're going to have to do it properly or wait till I serve my penalty. Let's get a full rundown. So at the back of the pack, Rocket Rob, 2:35, his fastest lap thus far. Ricardo, we saw him have a little bit of a foray with the wall. He fell in love with the wall and it went a little bit wrong. So he's got some work to do. 6.1 seconds back to Wiggy, who's not had the greatest of starts. He finds himself way down the order in 12th. With Avalon for company. He's got Avalon just in front of him in that Porsche Cayman. Ahead of them, Manxman, also in the Caymans. The two Caymans running 10th and 11th. Who counts backwards like 11th and 10th? I suppose people counting the charts do that. Slipstream in that NSX is behind Jay, and he is running the medium tyres in the NSX. He's behind Jay in the Alpha 155. So Jay, so far, having a really, really good first part of this race. The Slipstream just slides up the inside and through he goes on Jay. And Jay, does he have to relinquish it, or are they going to carry on side by side down? Jay's not giving this up yet. They are literally side by side now. Now he slips in behind and let Slipstream through. I think Slipstream decided he wanted that position and he took it. TJ in 7th. And that was a little tap on the back of GMAC. He does let GMAC regain that position. GMAC with another penalty to serve. Needs to be careful. Too many penalties and you will be getting catched, my friend. And at the moment he's getting catched. He's getting catched by TJ. Triple M, there he is. He got past GMAC. He's back up into the top 5. Arminis in 4th. Fubar has got that Lamborghini. The Lambo clearly a very, very good choice for Spa because he's up into 3rd is Fubar. And can he stay in that top 3? Certainly deserves a few good podium finishes, but we'll see. At the moment, Arminis on those soft compound tyres dropping down to 4th. Fubar also running the softs and is 1.8 seconds currently behind Wendigo. And bear in mind, of course, Stormfly and Wendigo are running on the medium compound tyres. So if they choose not to, they don't have to run them. They can run just softs for the rest of this race if they so wish to do that. So Wendigo is just behind Stormfly. It looks to me that this Lamborghini is very, very strong today. Very strong. We'll see just how strong in about 20 laps time. 8 minutes into this 1 hour 60-minute race here around Spa in Belgium. This is round 4 of the Black Flag Open GR4 tournament, and I think this is going to become a staple for a Monday, is it not? We'll certainly see. We'll see. We've got a few new things planned coming up for the summer. Of course, we've got the 1-year anniversary of Black Flag Racing Team coming up not too far away now, and of course with that comes a revival of Black Flag Bullshit Season 2 with a whole new format for that, completely shaken up from last time. It's going to be awesome though. I already know what cars and tracks we've got. Well, I certainly know what cars we've got. The tracks are still a little bit not necessarily picked, but we'll let you know once that is 100% confirmed. Now the current championship leader on 69 points is Stormfly, but he's got Wendigo for company, and Wendigo is determined not to let Stormfly pull away here. And I'll tell you something for free. He may well catch him. Into the source they go. If he gets a good exit out of here and a good run into the Kemmel Straight, he could very well find himself closing on Stormfly at the top of the hill and maybe having a little go up the inside. We saw a great overtake on Monkey Man Macho on lap 1. Can he do the same here? Little bit squirrely, just struggling a little bit to get the power down and keep it under control. He's not gaining enough here for it to count. Stormfly just able to keep him outside that 1 second window and away from the back of his car. Further back, there's Fubar. He's 2 seconds off the back of there. He's got Arminis sticking with him. And these two just putting out a bit of a gap now on Monkey Man Macho. He's 1.3 seconds back there. If he closes on them, and we could see a nice 3-way battle for 3rd occurring right before our very eyes. You can see there's a nice gap actually. So those front 5 really have kind of pulled themselves away from the rest of the pack. TJ being the best of the rest, 6.9 seconds back in his Ferrari 458. But here comes Monkey Man. He's closing quickly on the duo of Fubar and Arminis. And Fubar will want Arminis to hold Monkey Man Macho up for a little while. And while they're battling, I might give him an opportunity just to pull out a little bit of a gap. Unfortunately for him though, Arminis is just not letting up and he's really, really close to the back of that Lamborghini. Here we go, we can see on board with Monkey Man Macho as he's closing in on this battle for third between Fubar and Arminis. And we head down Blanchimont. Around they go, keep it on that power. And you can see the penalty line coming up where GMAC served a couple of penalties already, which is something's happened behind because TJ's lost 2 places. He's back in 8th. GMAC and Slipstream through in 6th and 7th. But Monkey Man Macho not closing on the duo of Fubar and Arminis out ahead of him. So they are battling out ahead. Is there a battle going on there? Well, there certainly is. Fubar doing everything he can to try and keep Arminis at bay, but they're side by side. Arminis with the inside line as they head down to La Source. Can he make this move stick? He has made that place up already into the top 3. Can he hold on as they go through La Source? Fubar is going to be tucked in behind and desperately wants to close on the back of Arminis and use that slipstream and that power in that Lamborghini to find a way through. And here we can see him closing. Good little line, I tell you, really, really good line through there in that Lambo. And stays fully planted. And you can see that gap closing all the time as they head up the hill. Flicks it up into 7th gear. That Lamborghini, one of the few GR4 cars with 7 gears. Into the braking zone they go. Arminis just enough ahead not to allow Fubar a way through. Can he pull away now? Has Arminis got enough power and enough guile in that 650S to pull a gap away from Fubar and take the pressure off just a little bit? Moving further back as I'm going to drop the keyboard on the floor. Dropping things a lot today. There is Slipstream. He's pulled a gap on Wiggy by 1.2 seconds. Wiggy finding his way back through the order now. Up into 7th he goes with there's Manx running in 8th. Front 3 remain unchanged, of course. Jay down in 9th position. He's still ahead of Ricardus. He's still ahead of TJ. TJ's obviously had a bit of a nightmare because he went from 6th. He's now in 11th position. 3.5 seconds behind Ricardus. He's starting to recover from that lap 1 foray with the wall. Rocket Rob up to 12th place. Ahead of Avalon. Avalon not happy in that Cayman in the slightest. He uses the Cayman here, of course, so he can use his beloved 911 in the GR3. He is 8.1 seconds behind Rocket Rob, though, and won't be happy about that at this stage. I'll tell you who really won't be happy. GMAC. Well, GMAC's been in the pits. GMAC pit really, really early. Even by GMAC standards, that was really early. Onto those soft compound tyres in the 650S. So not getting the same performance out of that 650S that we're seeing from this guy here, Arminis. As he pulls into the pits, now he's out of fuel. He's in. Stormfly also in. When Digo's staying out, takes the lead of this race. He's probably got another 2 laps maybe. If he really, really looks after the fuel here. Pit window open, of course. Everyone will start diving in around now. Certainly next lap. Fubar stays out as well. Fubar, if he can maintain this pace in the 2:29s that he's been doing and do 2 more laps, that'll be interesting. Now, the other interesting thing is that way the skies are blue, right? But it's quite cloudy that way and getting a little bit overcast. Does that mean there is rain coming? As it stands at the moment, no. Stormfly and Arminis looks like they're staying on the dry tyres, which means there's clearly nothing yet on the weather radar. And that's one thing PD needs to sort out. They need to give me access to weather radar immediately. So the sky looks fine there. I think it was just coming up the hill, just down by that start-finish line. It looked a little bit murky, but it looks all right there. So Monkey Man Macho back up into that top 3. Of course, he's still got a pit for fuel and tyres. Stormfly's in there for an extraordinarily long time. A lot of fuel to put on board, of course, but he's coming out now. Where does he slot back on the racetrack? The only person other than those just in that had already pit was GMAC. If he's ahead of GMAC, he's doing okay. So Avalon goes through, Avalon in 7th. There is Stormfly, rejoins the racetrack in 8th position. Rocket Rob gets a nice little run on him out of the pits. Does he make the move? He does make the move. Actually, Rocket Rob didn't get the run because he came out of the pits. Rocket Rob is staying out for one more lap. So that's how he got the run on Stormfly. But the last thing Stormfly will want straight after the pit stop is to be held up behind Rob. And you know, with the greatest respect to the world, he's not Stormfly pace. So he's going to Stormfly's going to want to dispatch of him relatively quickly, which he does get done. So Arminis comes out in 10th. He's going to have to get past Rob very soon. 4 seconds. That gap. He's again come out on those soft compound tyres. GMAC 11th position for him. He pit early, and that's got him just outside that top 10. Obviously there's still quite a lot of drivers that have got to go in. Jay's come back out on the mediums. He's going to go for a long middle stint here as we hit the 17-minute mark. See what I mean about those clouds? They're looking ropey on that side. Does it mean rain? Please bring rain. Rain always mixes things up. Ricardus in the silver, he's been in. He's back out on those medium tyres, and TJ has also been in. He's opted to come out on the soft compound tyres in that Ferrari and try and salvage something from this race that seems to have gone very, very wrong very, very quickly. Wendigo stays out for one more lap. I thought he probably would, and he absolutely did. Is he going to have to fuel save towards the end of the lap? Does that give Fubar a little bit of a license to close that 4.5 second gap? Because he doesn't really have to conserve fuel. He can push, and he's conserved it well and stayed in that kind of that kind of front 3, front 4 for the whole race. And you've got now 2 Lamborghinis out in front. Wendigo and Fubar, both in that Huracan. Monkey Man Macho in the F-Type. He's looked after his fuel quite well as well, and is now out, back up into that top 3. Having tanked a little bit, he started on pole, and he kind of just seemed to drop down the order every corner on the first lap. He seemed to have someone niggling at him and making moves on him, and he got down. At one stage, he was down into that, deep into the top 6. But now back up with the front runners, but obviously still to pit. Slipstream also still to pit in that NSX. He's 9.6 seconds behind Triple M, 8.7 ahead of Manx in that Cayman. Avalon 44 seconds back. He will need to pit as well. Behind him, I think he's going to be a de facto race leader once this lot go in. Now, at the moment, I don't know if he will be, because he's 1 minute 11 seconds behind the current leader, Wendigo. I think it really depends what sort of strategy now Wendigo's going to employ. Now, we have seen Wendigo, strangely, do this thing in the GR3s where he doesn't put a lot of fuel on board and ends up having to pit more. Now, I'm really hoping that he doesn't go... Look, and let's be clear, that strategy's not worked. Not once. Not ever. So sometimes you just got to be patient and wait and let that car fill up and get it done. You want to maximise your track time, and sometimes that means spending a little bit longer in the pits to get enough fuel on board. A Stormfly breezing through on Avalon to get himself up into that top 6. So Fubar stays out for another lap, and relatively comfortably so. 4 seconds clear of Monkey Man Macho, who's also pretty comfortable on fuel at the moment. So they're staying out for one more lap. This is lap 9. And if you consider that GMAC went in on lap 6, they've got an incredible amount of extra laps out of these cars in this first stint. And very surprised they managed to take it quite so far. And in fact, if they can make it 20 minutes on that 1 tank of fuel, or that half tank of fuel, they could very possibly stop this race to the end. Interesting set of affairs, that. So Wendigo has stayed in the pits to fuel. It looks like he's fueling properly. Manxman's in slipstreams, and Stormfly is there. He's coming through the bus stop chicane now, crossing that start-finish line. Will he regain the lead of the race? Will Wendigo get out in time to leapfrog Stormfly in that Lamborghini? Round the source, he comes. Where is Wendigo? He's coming out now. It's going to be close. I think Stormfly's just going to edge it. He's going to have that pace coming up the hill. You can see Wendigo there on the right hand side. If we go on board actually with, you can see there. There's Wendigo on his right hand side. Wendigo agonisingly can see the race leader coming through, and nothing at all he can do to stop him. And of course he's going to lose a bit of time as he gets up to speed coming up the hill. But he is out. Is he able to run to the end of this race? Bear in mind that both him and Stormfly have already used now those medium compound tyres. Can the softs last to the end of this race is question number one. Yeah, it does. You know, I'm looking at the clouds, and parts of the racetrack are nice and blue, but there's a few. It's looking a bit overcast. There's a few bits and pieces where the clouds are looking gloomy. Wouldn't that be something to really mix it up? In fact, you know, it'd be absolutely brilliant Monkey Man Macho and FeR into the pits now. They've managed to go 9 laps, so 22 minutes deep into this race. Imagine is while they're in there, they put on like some intermediates because they sense the weather changing, and it just makes a massive difference to the entire field. I think even in grid rain, I think it's too early to be doing things like that. But you never know your luck. So pit window, it's not closed and going wherever they like, but it's not open for a little while now while we settle into this race. So FeR and the Monkey Man currently lead. Will Stormfly and Wendigo regain first and second while they're in the pits? They've still got to get through the bus stop chicane. Here they come. You can see FeR and Monkey still in the pits. So FeR just getting some fuel and he's off the jacks now. There is Wendigo. We can see Wendigo following Stormfly through. There's Arminis in 5th. So really close together, those three. They were the top 3 before the pit window. Now, are they still going to be the top 3? I think they get a good run here. They should all keep the lead of this race. Well, let's have a look where FeR and Monkey are actually. FeR on his way out, Monkey on his way out as well. You can see here, you should be able to see, if we go on board with Arminis here, you should be able to see on the right hand side, I think, or maybe not. Maybe we can't see on the right hand side. If we look back like that though, we should see them coming out soon, or not. Yes, we can in the distance there. That's FeR. Just behind him, that little dog, that's Monkey Man Macho. But they're some way back. So, despite going in the pits late, they found themselves a little bit further back. But that said, they have both fueled. They put on medium tyres and they fueled to the end of this race. I would hazard a guess that I want to show you this. So you can, that's not one. That one you want to see. You can see there that Stormfly has gone for those racing soft tyres, and that to me is not enough fuel to take you to the end of this race. If you can make half a tank last about 20 minutes or so about 7 or 8 laps, then you're certainly going to need a full tank to get you past that 20-minute mark, go past the 40-minute mark, which is what's left. So he has planned to fuel again. Now if it rains, obviously it changes things a little bit, but we never know. Wendigo also on the racing soft tyres. They don't have to use mediums anymore. They can carry on the softs how they like. You see there, the skies are blue on the left and a little bit ropily dark on the right. So rain could be on the horizon. There is Arminis running in 3rd on the racing soft tyres. The gap back to FeR and Monkey Man 7.3 seconds. But I have a feeling all 3 of them, or at least Stormfly and Arminis, certainly will have to pit again for fuel, but because they're on the softs, possibly also tyres. In fact, I would say definitely also tyres. So FeR and Monkey Man, I think we can safely assume these 2 are running to the end of this race. So all they need to do is, actually, if these 2 work together, a little bit of bump drafting, a little bit of slipstream and that kind of thing, they can push themselves closer to those front 3, and safe in the knowledge that they will be there or thereabouts towards the end of this race. As a Wiggy despite being down in 8th place, has put in the fastest lap of the race with a 2:28.2. There is Slipstream running in 6th position, and this is the battle for 6th. It's Slipstream, it's GMAC, it's Wiggy, and on board with Wiggy, you can see here he's just put in the fastest lap of the race, and that'll be with the he hasn't just put it in, he put it in on lap 4. So he's had that for a while. So he is going to get a little bit of slipstream off GMAC. GMAC's going to get a little bit of slipstream off the man it was named after. Genuinely it was named after him, because once he ran behind a man, and he ran faster behind the man, and then they said, oh look, it's slipstream, and then the name stuck. That's actually true. I'm going to edit the Wikipedia entry for slipstream later. I wonder how long it'll stay like that. So GMAC unable to get past Slip, and Wiggy unable to get any closer to GMAC. But this is going to be an interesting battle between these three. Three very, very quick drivers, and three very consistent drivers as well. And they are all, I think, on the same tyre compound. No, they're not. Slip at the head of that little the little group there is on the medium tyres. Now, does that allow GMAC and Wiggy to, where they're going to have that little bit of extra grip? And the thing about having those better tyres, you can break that touch later. You can get on the power that touch earlier. You can go around that corner that little bit faster. Does that mean they're going to catch him? Because up ahead, I don't know who that is up ahead of Slipstream, but it looks certainly like it's probably a back marker that they're catching up, because they're catching really, really quickly.
Wow.
You go to the pub?
Yeah.
Where'd you get money from? Oh yeah, I sent you money earlier, which you spent on trainers.
And they're nice trainers.
Why are you wearing them then?
I'm not wearing them going out drinking, it's serious. £120 they cost.
Drinking on a Monday when you're such a alky. Later.
I ain't got no college tomorrow.
Okay. Alright, laters.
Bye.
My daughter off out on the piss on a Monday. I really wish that I had the fortitude to be doing that on a Monday. And we just see GMAC there making the move on Slipstream, and now Wiggy with a great run as they head down towards the bus stop chicane. There is a back, well, it's not back marker, that's Monkey Man Macho. They're catching Monkey Man Macho. So he has not been able to make big moves on Fubar in 4th. In fact, he's dropped into the clutches of these three who are off up the road after him. Slipstream can't keep Wiggy at bay. Little love tap as he dives up the inside. He does let him regain that position though, because he's very, very sporting. So there we go. So Slipstream, we see here, he made that move up the inside. I don't think he's been told to have a go there, but it was very clear, very quickly. It wasn't super wise, and he's had to give the place back and back off, and now he's not even going to be close enough to make a move on that battle. And we can see GMAC and Monkey Man Macho just starting to pull away now. So whatever happened to Monkey Man Macho to drop him off the back of Fubar into the clutches of these three, it's benefited GMAC and not done such a great job for Wiggy or for Slipstream. The fact they had a little coming together at the source didn't help, but it's giving GMAC actually a really good opportunity to move up into that top 5, with Monkey Man Macho just not on his A. Well, no, he was on his A game in qualifying. There's no doubt about that. But his race pace has just not been there so far. Looking further back, let's have a look down. 5.3 seconds back. TJ's regained a place in that top 10. He's 14 seconds clear of Jay in the Alpha 155. 38 seconds back to Avalon in 11th. Manxman, I don't know how far back he is. 3.4 seconds back. I thought he was going really slowly then. It was just the camera angle. 13th is Ricardus. He's just coming out of the pits. Was that a second stop for him? So he's coming out of the pits. He'll now run to the end of this race, I imagine, as Rocket Rob comes diving on through in 13th place. Out in the lead, no real change other than the fact that Stormfly's just sort of settled in with a nice big, I'd say nice big gap, it's 4 seconds. And he puts in the fastest lap of the race with a 28.2. That puts him 4 seconds clear of Wendigo, who's keeping him in his sights. Now actually this is really, really good for Wendigo, and really, really bad for Monkey Man Macho. I want to have a quick look. We're going to bring the standings back up really quickly while these guys are racing. You can see there, Monkey Man Macho 1 point behind Stormfly VR 46, but Wendigo was 14 points back. If it stays as it is, and Monkey Man Macho can't improve on 5th place, he's going to find that gap getting much, much smaller, and it's exactly what Wendigo needs in his sort of charge for this championship. And actually something Stormfly would be very, very pleased about as well, because he currently leads the championship by 1 point, and he would increase that by several today. So Armin is still running well in that top 3. I tell you what, he's a shoo-in today in that Lamborghini for a podium position. Just needs to keep that car on the racetrack, make sure it stays on the black stuff, not do anything stupid. Look, he knows he's not racing Stormfly and Wendigo. He can't catch those guys. I mean, yeah, look, don't get me wrong, in that 650S, if they make a mistake, they have a coming together, one of them goes off the track, Arminis will absolutely pounce. There's no doubt about it. But he's smart enough to know that that's not his race today. His race is Fubar and Monkey and GMAC and Star Group, those guys behind him. So at the moment he's winning that battle. He's winning that battle by 9 seconds. He doesn't need to do anything silly. He wants to stick with the top 2, of course he does. And he would gladly take 2nd or 1st if it were presented to him. But he's not going to do anything silly and try and push too hard to close on them, because he knows that battle out front is a whole different kind of ball game going on at the moment. His focus is going to be keeping that 9-second gap and keeping himself inside the podium places. Fubar now under no pressure from Triple M, who's not been having the greatest of days. Because usually this guy's uber consistent, but and 1 lap pace absolutely phenomenal. We saw just how quick he can be when he put in that blistering qualifying time. But right now, 3.2 seconds behind Fubar. He has now managed to drag himself away from GMAC, who was trying to capitalise on that error that Monkey Man made to move up into the top 5. But GMAC up into 6th. That's where he stays. We saw him make moves on Slipstream and Wiggy to get there, as everyone just starts to open out a little bit, settles in as we get to this midpoint of the race. And these soft tyres are not going to run to the end of the race. Anyone that put them on lap 9 or 7 or whatever it was. So Wiggy in the BMW. Now these guys actually that know they're going to have to pit again for tyres did the smart thing by maximum fueling the car, because it means their next stop can be shorter. They can concentrate more on just getting the tyres on and getting back out of pits. So that's quite a wise choice from them. And I think Wiggy's still a potential shoe-in for a top 5 here. Currently running in 7th in that BMW. He's got a 6.8 second gap over Slip back in 8th in the NSX. He is 12.9 seconds clear of TJ, running in 9th. And if we look at the back of the pack, down in 14th, there's Rocket Rob, 7.6 behind Ricardus, who after that foray with the wall on lap 1 has really struggled to kind of get back in contention with Manx and Avalon and Jay and all that kind of thing. And I do want to point out something. So Avalon has always been, kind of there or thereabouts and up there with the big boys. Since the update, hasn't seemed so comfortable with the change in the cars. But the thing that's really important, actually, is to highlight, and this is nothing against Avalon, this is actually to highlight just the improvement in this guy here. And we talked about it before, is that Jay and I were a very similar pace when he started racing with us and back in the old group. Very, very similar pace, and it was often he and I and Grizz that would kind of battle it out for last. Over time, he has honed his racecraft, and picked up tips and had his little training sessions and just got better and better and better. And starting to now find that kind of pace is moving him from a back marker into a midfield runner. And if you consider that everybody's improving all the time, Stormfly, Wendigo, Arminis, Slipstream, all of these guys, they're all getting better each time. And this Kaizen says just 1% better each time. Has Ricardo's changed car? That's a really good question. I don't think he has, but I will check. I'm pretty sure he was in the Silvia last time out as well, but I will check that. I've got the ability to check with my eyes. No, I will check back, and if he is running the wrong car, there will be penalties handed out like sweeties in a playground at a kid's birthday party. Right, yeah, anyway, so as I say with Jay, you can see the improvement there, and now firmly inside that top 10. 33 seconds, may I add, ahead of Avalon, and Avalon is no slouch. So Jay coming in, changing out those medium compound tyres. He's going to put on some softs to run him to the end of this race. So there is your current leader. Stormfly is 5 seconds clear almost of Wendigo. And shall we have a quick look and see what car Ricardo's is supposed to be driving? No, he's signed up in the Nissan Silvia. I will check earlier footage to make sure, but he's signed up in the Nissan Silvia, and so yeah, so he's not changed the car. He's in the correct car. The thing about Silvia actually, it's quite odd, because the Silvia with a different livery can look like a completely different car, and I've noticed that before. I've often kind of seen the Silvia and kind of done a double take, thinking, what colour is that? Because it just looks so different with a different livery on it. And I think because it looks, if you compare it to, although the Alpha's quite a distinctive shape. They've all got a distinctive shape, but they all kind of look like GR4 cars. But then when you look at the Silvia, which is there, no, it's not. It's there. It doesn't look. It kind of looks out of place. It looks like a really old car, out of place with everything else. It almost looks like it's a road car, and not a GT car, in comparison to the rest. Bloody good car, though, I have to say. So Stormfly leads 4.6 seconds from Wendigo. Is Wendigo resigning himself to second place here? Is he concerned that Armin is behind? If he pushes and makes a mistake, Armin is behind, can catch him. Or is he playing a long game? Has he got a plan to catch Stormfly later, or is it just purely he just realised he hasn't got that pace? Raining my PepsiCo. There we go. So Arminis, if we did driver of the day, which we don't, because I don't like these guys enough to hand out such accolades. I don't want them to think that I actually have any sort of fondness for them. I think they're all bellends. Of course, I'm only joking. I love these guys. I love these guys more than I love my kids. That's not true either. Please don't tell my missus I'll get murdered. So Armin is currently running in third. Really, really good performance from him. Outstanding performance from him, actually. Running in third place. 5.5 seconds behind Wendigo. Clearly this Lamborghini Huracan, since the update, is a much better car than it has been previously. Really solid performance from him in third. The thing is, once he got there, he never really looked back. He did have a little bit of a battle, him and Fubar, where he's not in the Lamborghini, he's in the 650S. Sorry, it's Fubar and Wendigo that are in the Lamborghini. Ignore me, talking absolute rubbish. It does look a little bit Lamborghini-ish, though, to be fair. We look, there's the Lamborghini, there's the McLaren. It's Lamborghini-ish. There is Fubar, who is in the Lamborghini Huracan, and that's real. He, for reals, is in the Lamborghini Huracan. He's running in fourth place. Who's that behind him on the racetrack? That's the view I want to look there and see who's behind him. Is that Monkey Man Macho? It looks like it is. Monkey Man Macho is starting to hunt him down. You can see there in that Jaguar. So he is trying to get back in contention with this top three. Certainly, his first job obviously is to get into contention with Fubar back there. Now, bear in mind that Fubar and Monkey, these guys can run to the end of this race without pitting again. The cars ahead, I think, will. So we could see a very a bit of a seed change in the lineup on the racetrack. Once that top four or top three of Stormfly, Wendigo, Arminis go into the pits for, and it'll be a short blast stop. And they will, and you've got to bear in mind as well, they'll be all in soft tyres, and they will be hot laps ahead when they come out. But you have to say, if at the moment, I mean, Monkey Man's only 25 seconds off Stormfly, the leader, and it's such a long pit stop here. So the pit window is started. Well, it's open for GMAC. So he's already into the pits. This will be his final stop. He's decided to go 2 stop, 20 minute, 20 minute, 20 minute. 3 20-minute stints for him. Well, actually, the first one was about 15 minutes. But so GMAC running in 8th place. TJ also in for his second stop. So let's do a full run through. In the lead of this race, it is Stormfly VR46, currently leading the championship. 1 point clear from Monkey Man Macho on 69 points. Wendigo in second in the Lamborghini Huracan, 6.4 seconds back. And then it's 8 seconds to Arminus in the McLaren 650S, and he's 10 seconds clear of Fubar in the other Lamborghini Huracan. 1.4 to the Jaguar XK of Macho Man, and then 6.3 seconds to that BMW M4 driven by Wiggy. Slipstream in 7th, back ahead of GMAC by virtue of staying on the track that little bit longer. Is he staying to the end? Is he running to the end? Because he could be fully back in contention along with Monkey and Fubar, you know. He's 11 seconds behind Wiggy at the moment. Can he close that gap a little bit? Behind him, GMAC is now out of the pits. He's had his final stop. Actually, that's Avalon coming through into 8th place. Avalon moving up 1 position. He's still got a stop though. He's got GMAC 2.3 seconds behind him. That's where he comes out. He's going to now run to the end of this race. He's on soft tyres. He's got loads of fuel. Yeah, there's nearly 15 minutes left, and he's got enough fuel to drive for about 4 days, or 6 miles if you're GMAC, of course. That's a joke that never gets old, really, is it? Telling the same joke about GMAC since pretty much the day he joined. Man, he's running in 10th place. He's 9.6 behind GMAC, and he can also run to the end of this race, but he's on the less grippy, less forgiving medium tyre. 11th is Ricardus in that Silvia. He can run to the end of the race. Those tyres should hold out for him to the end. So he potentially could be chasing down Manxman. And after his first lap, actually, with a bad qualifying and a bad first lap, Ricardus might salvage a top 10 here, which is not a bad thing. TJ in the Ferrari 458 Italia. He's not having a great day at the office, and although he's running to the end of this race, he's got to run those medium tyres now to the end. He's got a 3-second penalty, which is going to drop him firmly into the sights of Jay. Jay in the Alpha 155. He's on the soft compound tyres. He can push, and will run to the end of the race, of course. And then 14th. Last but of course not least is a Rocket Rob. He always looks like that. So Stormfly leads 7.7 seconds. He's just starting to lay down the gauntlet now with a 27.861, just to demonstrate that he has got some phenomenal pace. And yeah, at the moment he really is. He's demonstrating why this GR4 championship is kind of his to lose at the moment. Doing a really good job out there in the lead of this race. Wendigo running second, but these guys are going to have to pit again. Does Wendigo have to pit? Can he? Now here's the thing, right? Stormfly definitely has to pit again. He's not got enough fuel to go to the end of this race. He's going to have to put a little blast of fuel in. The thing is, actually, his tyres are in much better nick than Wendigo's, despite the fact they pitted about the same time. But Wendigo, fuel-wise, has loads. So actually, they're both. I think they're both going to need to pit. But Wendigo's got a slight advantage in the fact that he doesn't need to put any fuel at all on board. He can dive in, whack on some tyres, and straight back out. So I think Stormfly might find himself under a little bit of pressure from Wendigo. But having pace on him or not, I don't think it's going to make the difference, because if he's got to put fuel on board and Wendigo hasn't, that's a significant chunk of time in the pits that he's not going to have to do, Wendigo. So if I was Stallfly, I'd be afraid, be very afraid. And then the problem is, of course, that he does have this tendency where when extra pushing, trying to eke out an extra couple of tenths because you're chasing someone down, that's when mistakes can creep in. We've seen it before, and there's no doubt we will see it again. So Armin is in for his final stop. He's dropping down the order. Does that drop him permanently outside the top three? That's the thing, because we know that Fubar can run to the end of this race. He's 30 seconds back from the current race leader. Monkey Man Macho is 1.3 seconds behind Fubar. He also can run to the end of this race, although he's going to have to be a little bit cute with the fuel towards the end, because you can see there he's got a little bit brave with it, chasing down Fubar. But at the moment, I think these two are a really, really good outside bet for 1-2 at the moment. Slipstream, who's also running to the end of this race, was kind of down in mid-table obscurity for large swathes of this race. But now, this moment, right here, right now, running to the end, he's got enough fuel, he's got tyres galore, well, not galore, but certainly enough to get him to the end on those mediums. Look, he's 24 seconds behind Monkey Man. Unlikely to make significant inroads into that between now and the end of this race, but certainly going to finish there or thereabouts. So that's where Arminis comes out. He's come out in 6th. He's 28 seconds behind Slipstream. Some work to do if he wants to get himself back into that top 3, but still an awesome performance from him. Wiggy in 7th with GMAC in 8th. 8.7 separates these two drivers. Wiggy going to run to the end now on those medium tyres as Stormfly dives in. Does Wendigo follow him? Looks like Wendigo stays out. Now for me, I think if you're chasing a guy down, I think you would do what he does, kind of scenario, because it's going to give Stormfly that extra kind of impetus to go hammer time, and I think if you both come out at the same time, you know exactly where you are. So G-Mac's going to run to, he's on the soft tyres. He is chasing down Wiggy, but he's got Avalon behind him, and when Avalon finds his rhythm, and I mean, and talking of rhythm, 31.4, 31.6, 31.2, 31.5, that's rhythm. Rhythm, baby, hit me with your rhythm stick. Can he keep them tyres going for him? It's going to be ropey. It's going to be ropey as fuck if he does stay on them, particularly if he's going to push and try and take GMAC for his bride. Just want to look ahead there. So 21 seconds of gap between Wendigo and Fubar. Fubar is 1.6 ahead of Monkey. These two, I think their strategy of hanging on early doors and then going long for a one stopper may well pay off. There's Stallfly, comes out of the pits now. What's the gap? It's a big fucking gap, I'm afraid. That's a big gap. That is 21 seconds. He has got 10 minutes, essentially 4 laps, to find 22 seconds on the back of Monkey Man Macho. And he's got Slipstream 1.7 behind him. The question really is what this guy does. If he feels that those tyres can hold him out to the end of this race, and actually I think they might just do that, you know. I think these tyres might just hold out to the end of the race. He doesn't have to pit if he looks after those tyres. He's 22 seconds clear. He can afford to lose 3 seconds a lap over the next 4 laps and not be in any danger of getting caught. So I think actually if he had planned on stopping and changing out the tyres, now he's doing the math and he's looking at those tyres, he'll know that they're going to be really ropey, really difficult to cope with in the last lap or two of this race. So once he gets to sort of lap 23, lap 24, that's when his tyres are going to be struggling. But the gap is nearly 23 seconds. That's a lot of time a lap he can lose to the chasing Fubar, chasing Monkey Man Macho, and of course chasing Stormfly. So, you know, we were looking at a very different scenario. 10 laps ago, we were looking at Stormfly building a nice big lead for himself at the top of the championship, with Monkey Man Macho finishing a few places behind him. Now, we could be looking at Wendigo closing the gap on the top two, and Monkey Man Macho taking the lead of this championship here at Spa today. Everything all change. We are introducing, of course, a drop round, so rounds where you couldn't race and you've missed out, you will get to drop one. There was a call for it, so we have added it. That's the great thing about this tournament, is we can change what we like when we like, apart from tracks, of course. They've got to stick to the tracks because they got picked by my randomizer, and nobody fucks with the randomizer. The randomizer decides, the randomizer speaks, and the drivers obey like good little puppy dogs. Wendigo, Fubar, Monkey Man. This Fubar's best ever GR race finish. I have a feeling he's done well in the gauntlets a couple of times, but as for the kind of the big GR tournaments, GR3, GR4, I think this might be Fubar's best ever performance. Sucking on that vape, boy. Sucking on that vape. 2.8 seconds of gap between him and Monkey Man. Monkey Man's not been able to match the pace of that Huracan ahead of him. He was super quick in qualifying. No one even close to his kind of pace in qualifying. But he's not been able to recreate that same kind of blistering pace under a racing environment. It's just not gone so well for him. He seems to have struggled to find consistency. And you can see that. I mean, he's done a 28.3, which is a phenomenally quick lap. I mean, it's no 27.8 like Stormfly did as a hot lap, but yeah, I think the difference here. I mean, if you look at Fubar, Fubar's been, I think overall his kind of one lap pace has been a little bit slower than that of Monkey Man, but you can see there that his consistency is so much better. From lap 12, we did a 29.1, which was his fastest lap of the race, but from then he did a 30.5, and it's 30.5, 30.4, 30.0, 31.2, a little bit of an anomaly there, but again 30.5, 31.8 was a bad lap, 31.4, 31.5, 30.5, 30.2 again. So a lot better grouping than Monkey Man, who kind of dipping in and out of the 29s up to the 31s to the 30s. There's a lot less consistency there for Monkey. So that's why he's 2.5 seconds back from Fubar. But look, anything can happen. There's still a couple of laps remaining. So here, lap 22. There are, I think, 2, maybe 3 laps for these guys to finish, certainly for the front runners anyway. So, but Wendigo leads. He's actually opening up a lead. Those tyres starting to look a little bit scary. That front left, that would scare me. But I've never been 23 seconds clear in my life. And I think I have. When I played the AI once, and I was in a GR1. I know when basically. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been 23 seconds clear of any online race, put it that way. So 23.5 seconds clear he is. I think he's. I mean, look at that consistency. Mid 29s all the way. Mid to low 29s every lap, and then dipping occasionally below that 29. For me, though, I think he just needs to slow his pace a touch. I think he needs to start dropping it out into the 31s just to try and conserve that tyre for the last couple of laps. He can afford to lose. You know, if Fubar behind him is doing 30s and 31s, he doesn't need to be chucking in 29.5s, 29.4s. He needs to be doing 31s, 32s, ensuring that those tyres get him home. That's the key. But that's what's going to happen right now. But Stormfly, he has closed the gap on Monkey, but still 18.3 seconds. This is going to be the first non-podium for Stormfly, and I don't think it's anything. It wasn't about getting the tactics wrong today. Just the guys around him have just been super quick. There's nothing wrong with his tactics, other than the fact that, of course, the other 3 ahead of him one stopped this race. But they've one stopped and had the pace to go with it. Slipstream, that's the wrong way, my friend. And I've got to say this.
You can't park that there, mate.
I was just about to commend his floating around in the midfield and then managing to use that consistency to get himself in 5th. And instead what he chose to do was demonstrate the wrong direction to go when you're going around Puyon. Disappeared off into a wall, and he's now got Arminis 1.2 behind him. Arminis, who for so long ran in that top 3, but again fell foul of the Wendigo Fubar Monkey Man one-stop wonder. And you can see here that those that have one-stopped and had that kind of low 30, low 31 pace, they're the ones that are doing well here. Apart from Wendigo, of course, he's got the 29 pace with ropey tyres, and you can just see the lights starting to fade towards the end of this race. Back of the pack, Rocket Rob, he's on lap 21, just having Ricardus who's in 9th, and Avalon in 10th coming to lap him. He's just moving over, letting those guys through as he should do, because they are racing. Jay down in 13th. Can he close that 6.2 seconds on TJ? Lap time. Well, to be fair, I mean, high 31s, low 32s is not a shabby pace. You've got to bear in mind this Alpha 155 doesn't have that top end that really helps you on the long straights here. You know, it's quick out the corners, it's quick getting the power down, but once you get into the higher kind of rev range, that's when this car starts to suffer somewhat. TJ in the 458, pace actually not too dissimilar to those out in the lead when he gets it dialed in, but it's been erratic at best. Into the pits goes Slipstream, so he doesn't stay out. He chooses to go in, and actually I'm not entirely sure he needed to. Where is he? Where's he gone? Where's Slipstream gone? He's way down the order now. He's down in 12th position. Why did he pit when he did? He didn't need to. He didn't need to pit. He could have made this to the end of the race, and he's cost himself top 5. Unless, of course, he had to put on soft tyres because he hadn't run 2 compounds. I suppose it's conceivable he hadn't run 2 compounds, and that's why he had to go in. That's the only explanation for pitting when he did. So that's cost him absolutely loads. And why have I lost sound? I've lost sound in my ear. I'm hoping it's just because the batteries have gone out in the headphones. I think that's the case. I'm going to have to hope the sound's coming through okay to you. I can see it is, the monitor says it is. So I'm going to finish this race with no sound, which is really weird. Let me turn this up a little bit. I can't hear it, there we go. Right, so Slipstream in 12th position. He's lost loads and loads of time. So here we are, lap 24. Is this the final lap of the race? I think it may well be. Final lap of the race, lap 24, and Wendigo is 24, nearly 25 seconds clear of anybody else. And that one-stop strategy, and he's managed as well to look after those tyres quite well, which has allowed him to just breeze into the lead. And he didn't have to make an overtake to do it. He had to make a couple of overtakes early on to get himself into that top 3, and then it was just easy plain sailing from there, and he got himself up with Stormfly. They disappeared off up the road to go and have their own little party, and then when Stormfly had just enough of the action at the party and stopped for a breather, Wendigo said see you later, and off he went up the road. 25 seconds. Fubar and Monkey Man, brilliant strategy from them. They opted, they let those guys go. They was like, okay, if you're going to go, we're going to do something different. And they looked after the tyres, they looked after the fuel in that first stint, went nice and long, took it out to lap 9. That allowed them to one-stop this race successfully and get themselves podium positions. So it's going to be all change in the championship, as Stormfly is going to lose the lead of this championship. And not because he made any tactical error, just because well, I suppose you could argue he made a tactical error by not one-stopping, but it's just been the phenomenal pace of Wendigo, Fubar and Monkey Man, even despite the fact that they've been fuel saving and ensuring that they can one-stop this race. So brilliant performance from them. as we see Wendigo crossing the line to take the win here at Spa. A convincing win as well for Wendigo, reviving his championship hopes straight away. Fubar, he's going to come home at the end, 6.6 seconds clear of Monkey Man for his highest ever GR race finish at Black Flag. That is a great performance from him. Home in second, thoroughly deserved podium position. Monkey Man Macho will bring that Jaguar home in third. Didn't have a great start to the race, but my God, what a finish. Stormfly, good race still, he finished in the top 4, but he's going to lose the lead of this championship right now. Yeah, I did check, Ricardo, so I know you were. I think it's with the silver, it kind of looks different with different liveries on, that's the thing. Arminus coming home, and as I said, if there was a driver today, he would be it. Again, similar to Stormfly, the only thing that kept him out of the top 3 today was that extra pit stop. Had it been the other Spa without the with the easier pit lane, they might have been all right. But this 24-hour pit lane is incredibly long. 5th place for Arminus, well deserved. G-Mac will come home in 6th. Or Willie will Wiggy Nicky off him on the line. Very, very close. That's a good position for him. And good for Wiggy in 7th. And as Ricardo said in the chat, that he did lose that car on lap 1 and managed to revive his way back up to P8. So let's have a look at the full classified index, shall we? Wendigo in Huracan takes the win. The Lamborghini is very strong here today. Fubar, also in Huracan, takes his highest ever finishing position. Congratulations to you, Philip. Monkey Man Macho in the F-Type comes in the last podium position. Stormfly in the 4C, can't get himself on the podium today, does nick himself the fastest lap though. Arminus in the 650S and G-Mac in the 650S are 5th and 6th. Wiggy in the BMW M4 comes home in 7th. Ricardus in that Silvia nicks his way onto the first page despite having a spin on that one and not the best of qualifying performances. Avalon in the Cayman Club Sport and Manxman in the other Cayman Club Sport in 9th and 10th. 11th was TJ in the 458 Italia. Slipstream in the NSX. Pitt so close to the end of the race. It must have been because he didn't run the 2 compounds. So he finishes in 12th. Jay in the Alpha 155 finishing in 13th. And 14th in the F-Type was Rocket Rob. Now, other than Rocket Rob and Monkey Man, who are both in the F-Type, I've got to be brilliant. I mean, you can see here that the cars all kind of grouped together. So the Huracan's together out in the lead. The 650S there, 5th and 6th. You've got the then the Silver and the M4 obviously splitting them guys up. Then you've got 2 Caymans next to each other as well. So so in terms of the car performances and the driver performances, very, very similar performances from the drivers in all these different cars. I think Wendigo is just that little cut above the rest, but yeah, phenomenal performance from all the drivers today. Really, really close racing. Should be very proud of that. That was awesome, awesome stuff. Moving swiftly on. That's how the table looked before we started. It's going to be very, very different when I update it in a minute. I'll either myself or Jay will do it, but I'll tell you what, it's going to look very, very different in the morning. I'll tell you what, one thing that's going to be different is VR46 is no longer going to be on the top of that table. Monkey Man Macho will slip himself into the lead of this championship. Wendigo will significantly close the gap on those 2, and they will pull a little bit of space for themselves, a little bit clear air for those 3. Wiggy will gain some points. Fubar, I think, will certainly close that gap significantly on Wiggy and open up the gap from Roses. Arminus as well with a good performance should get himself, in fact will get himself ahead of Roses. TJ as well should get a lot closer. Slip though, not a great performance from him today. Thought he was going to nick 5th. Turns out he had to stop again, and yeah, that's cost him some significant points. But that's the beauty of this. We are done. We are dusted for another day. We're back at this track on Wednesday in the GR3s for more Black Flag e-racing action. All that's left for me to say is I will see you tomorrow for some Smoking Pirelli's F1 and a little bit of late night racing F1. I can't remember what tracks we're at, but I will remind you. Well, I'll tell you tomorrow when we're there. But until then, all that's left to say is I've been Owen Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV, and it's been emotional.